Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to Algodo tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf, once again, without a face cam.
Episode 111. And Waff, instead of a face cam, as you'll see after the news, just has a bright pink box.
Yeah,
disappointing.
It is what it is.
Disappointing to say the least. I am sitting over here on the side of the world, up in Boston, just glaring down towards Texas. Just glaring.
Hey,
right?
This ain't my fault. It's Elgato's fault. I'm gonna be emailing them after the show about this.
Okay, well, that well-worded email, I would be terrified to have to receive that. Anyway, guys.
They were helpful last time this happened, like several months ago. So, maybe this will be fixed.
Yeah, but it seems like you've had a lot of problems with said camera, so maybe it's just a bad camera.
Only recently. It was only after they updated their program, so it's their fault, not mine.
All right, good. Blame them, and that makes you feel better. All right. But it's the end of the Marble League. It has been a very confusing Marble League. It has been a very odd Marble League. It's been a Marble League where the Savage Speeders finished in 12th place, but I don't necessarily know if that's as bad as it seems, and we're going to talk about that. It's still bad, but we'll have to look at things. And it's an odd Marble League. I can't believe the Gliding Glaciers are third right now. They were my dark horse pick, and they finished on podium. It has just been a baffling league, is all I'm going to say. All right? And the fantasy teams are all over the place. The veteran teams were all over the place. And honestly, it was a good Marble League to watch. It was exciting. It was unpredictable, and that's what made it so exciting. And it was so close. I'm here looking at the fantasy, and every single number. 1162, there's 3 teams. 1163, there's 3 teams in point value. 764, 5. There's so many people just tied by the point. And the difference between 100th place and 50th is not much.
Yeah.
It is crazy. This is a anomaly in marble sports. So, very interesting. We'll talk all about it. We're going to go through all the teams and stuff, and I'm going to have to make some apologies on certain picks. But one thing I want to point out is that we are going to be doing that second episode with the Let It Roll podcast. And in that episode, if you didn't calculate it for yourself, you'll get to find out who won the Showdown fantasy extravaganza that we all did. It was really exciting. It was really close, too. It was really close midway, and it was really close in the final. So it could go either way here. But definitely tune in. I think we're going to do that next week. So tune in for that. That was really fun, and it really gave us a good outlook on Showdown teams as well. So join us for that. But I don't have much news. I've just been really stressed up here at college, and there's probably some stories I could dig up, but I'm really just trying to settle in still and get used to the work and get used to living alone and all the work and stress and drama that comes with that. New relationships, and some are going great, some are going not so great, and those are all things to work on. So when I feel more comfortable, then I'll probably whip out some crazy stories in the future. But before we go to the news, I'll always turn it over to Waff, see if he has anything groundbreaking to mention.
Not really much on my end. This is I'm in my senior design project. I volunteered as the team leader. It's the project is literally actually being contracted for an actual real job by a real company. So I'm basically getting a second job to do for my semester. So it's gonna be pretty busy for this semester. And like to tell you how official it is, like I had to sign an NDA, so I can't even tell anybody about what the project is until like May next year.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you have to stay confidential.
Yeah, that's just how legit we're talking here.
Man.
It's like just straight up.
Well, I mean, I want to hear about that one day. Are you able?
Well, once
to
my contract is up,
you'll be able to talk about it.
I'll definitely talk about it once I can legally do so.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you that you have that kind of opportunity. I hope it goes better than the JMR channel is going currently. That's all I'll say. But with that being said, let's not waste time. We have a lot to get to today, and we're not gonna just pretend like there's nothing going on. So let's get to the news. And on the other side, we got emails, we got trivia, we got 16 teams to discuss in this year's Marble League, and we got a new host. And I can't believe the new host. I can't even imagine what they're going to do for that. Because the one thing I will say about this year is that the host theming was extremely cool. So I couldn't even imagine what they're going to do for the Green Ducks. But with that being said, let's go to the news.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble here with the Marble Sports Worldwide News, sponsored by the Marble Hotel. Wherever you roll, we'll be there. The finale of Marble League Showdown 2021 featured triathlon, diving, and the Sand Mogul race, but it also has a debut of a new event, Marblocross. After several rounds of heated competition, the Cobalts took home the gold once again, followed by the Pinkies with the silver and Team Primary with the bronze. Usually the bottom 4 teams would be relegated to another year of Showdown, but because 4 new teams will be joining next year, all 12 teams will be getting to move up to the 2022 qualifiers. This is a very lucky opportunity, so hopefully the bottom 4 will seize it and make it all the way up into the big leagues. Speaking of which, the first event of Marble League 2021 was Marblocross. Only this time, there were even more gaps to give the competitors an opportunity to make up a lot of points. The racing was incredibly intense, and in the end, Minty Fresh took home first, followed by Kinnowin in second and Yellup in third. And to top it off, because the Minty Maniacs got a medal in this event, every single team podiumed at least once for the first time in Marble League history. So, congratulations to them. And now, the moment you've all been ready for. The overall Marble League 2021 champions are Mellow Yellow! This team has been with us since the beginning in 2016, and it's great to finally see them claim the title as the best. Close behind, though, are the Raspberry Racers with the silver and the rookie Gliding Glaciers with the bronze. And after the closing ceremony had concluded, the 2022 Hearst were revealed to be the Green Ducks. So much has happened this season, and we look forward to seeing what the Ducks have in store for us next year. And while the Marble League may be over, we still have other exciting competitions to hold us over. And one such series is the RMLB League, which functions similar to the Marble League Showdown, where the marbles who fail to qualify get a chance to move up to the A-League. Race 1 took place back at the beginning of lap 4. Moko was pushed off the track by Dora just before they could enter the marble booster and knock them out of the race. However, no penalty was given to Dora, so Moko just decided to roll on over to the finish line and watch the rest of the race. Another accident occurred on the final lap as Silver Blur rolled right over on the railings into the bridge. Fortunately though, they weren't injured. And soon after, Sacred Snow crossed the finish line in first, followed by Dragon Egg in second and Fury in third. The B-League has just begun and is already shaping up to be a very interesting season, so stay tuned for the races to come. Well guys, I've been Johnny Marble. You have been the best fans in the world. Let's kick it back now and continue now with the podcast.
All right, we are back from the news, everybody. Thank you, Johnny Marble, who's back. Right, Wolf? He's back. He's back, right? He's back?
Yes, he's back.
He's back. Hey,
Sorry.
Johnny Marble, thank you for being back. Thank you for bringing us the news. And this is a week to bring news. This is a week to be bringing news. The end of Marble League, a very rocky road kind of Marble League, unpredictable at the low points, honestly. It really a lot going on here. And to be able to speak this news, to say Mellow Yellow is your 2021 Marble League champion is beyond my ability to comprehend. I cannot believe that they won. I really cannot. Like, I did not see that anywhere. I had like 5 to 7 teams lined up. Like, this one's gonna win, or this one. Or this. Mellow Yellow wasn't even there. Wasn't even there. So
that was crazy. That was definitely crazy.
And to see the teams of O'Rangers and Savage Beaters just slowly fall every time. Slowly. It was slow, especially for speeders, because they were up there for a while, and you saw them establish themselves in 3rd and 4th and just be there, and you're like, okay, well, this is them. This is them. They're going to be there. They're going to stick in the top 5. They'll end somewhere there. It's fine. But then the slow drop, the slow descent, all right, to 12th place was really, really... it was really unexpected. But then again, I don't actually still think they were a bad pick, but we'll get into that. Before we get into all that, though, we want to start with something from WAF. And I'll preface this by saying that this person was very involved with JMR and recently offered a resignation letter from their position. And I'm going to let WAF read this out loud so you can hear what they said, and then we'll deliberate for a second.
Yes, all right, I will pull that up now. Okay, here we go. So this is basically like a post / letter from Novawolf. Hey everyone, today I have an important announcement to make. As most of you are aware, I have encountered some difficult circumstances within JMR while working for them. The way the channel is structured right now just is not ideal for anyone who is seriously committed to contributing to the channel in a positive and dedicated manner. Wow. What has been made public to you all so far is only the tip of an iceberg that runs very, very deep. Despite how incredible of an opportunity producing the graphics for ML21 was for someone like me, the high levels of stress, frustration, and hopelessness I have felt watching everything unfold in the past 7 months have led me to the conclusion that continuing work for the channel in its current state will not be beneficial or worthwhile to me. Therefore, I have resigned from my position working for JMR, discontinuing all services on my end, graphics and others. I will remain in the community, taking on the role of a fellow fan. Sorry. There you go. Okay, I know this...
choked up there.
I know this will be difficult for some of you to understand, and a lot of you will have questions about the internal chaos, but please refrain from asking such questions for now. That being said, you are more than welcome to talk with me about my decision, both in this server or in direct messages. You all mean a lot to me, for it was your praise, encouragement, and support that really motivated me to persevere through the difficult circumstances and continue producing at the absolute highest quality. I could reasonably provide. I could reasonably provide.
What do you,
Sorry.
Stop in mid-sentence.
Sorry. My bad. I know I was never great at acknowledging individual messages, but I do read all of them, and I certainly do appreciate them. Please continue to make an effort to support those who are still making efforts to contribute positively to the channel, and of course, please keep supporting Yella above all else. These are the individuals who we must lift up if we all want to see JMR's signature quality and immersivity be sustained in the future. Best regards, Novawolf.
And the letter is up on the Chrome on the YouTube right now, so you can read it for yourself. Visually if you'd like, and I'm sure if you asked him, he would send it to you. This is bad. I remember Novawolf, and I was talking about this before the show, but I remember Novawolf when I joined back in 2019 for the fantasy, not the fantasy team, the fan team contest. There we go. X Camo, the whole thing. We told that story one time. Don't even remember when. All right, X Camo, okay? That whole deal back in 2019. Novawolf was there. And he was not in this position yet. He was not really a contributor. He was a fan. He was a new fan, a newer fan. He wasn't in JMRC. Okay, he wasn't. I don't even know if he was running like a social media. I don't know. He wasn't doing much yet. But he loved it, and you could tell he loved it. He was always active. We had a couple little skirmishes word-wise, but those don't really matter. But he was very active. He was very into the whole thing, and he would have cut off his left hand to be able to be on the JMRC. He would have done whatever he could to get that opportunity. He would have rolled thousands of miles, to the little marble pun, to be able to contribute to the actual production that you see on the screen. So to see this email or post, whatever, announcement, where he says that he feels that the time he's putting in is not worth his time, is a very big deal to the direction of the channel. Because if all the people like this leave, then the channel will fail. Because then nobody will want to put time into it.
Yeah,
and then, sorry, Wolf, go ahead.
But like the graphics are a big part about the professionalism, and like we're gonna talk about this more, I think, once we get into Marblocross. But like the amount of work that had to go into that the standings graphic throughout that whole race, my word, like that's as someone who's done video editing, I can tell you the amount of the amount of work that Novawolf must have done, I can only guess, was several hours to get that right. Like that was insane.
Yeah, it was no small task. It was no small task to make all those graphics and have them all shift around and to make it look professional. All right, but it does not. The strength of a channel is not about the size of the view count 2 weeks after the video comes out. People will sit there and say, oh, well, JMR is 100,000 views at least per video. How could someone possibly say that's not worth their time? And it's because the inside, the core of who produces, that's where it's decided to be worthwhile or not. If it's not led correctly, if there's no strong leadership, if there's no listening between that core, then you really feel like you're doing nothing, even though you're doing something for 1/10 of a million people, at least, sometimes 1 million people if it's a really YouTube algorithm-friendly video. It doesn't matter if you don't feel that on the inner level with the few people that are putting the production on, that are connecting with each other to do that work. And if it breaks down from the inside, well, those views will fall from 1 million to 1 very fast. All right, and you'll see that in other Marble Sports channels. Pretty much almost every Marble Sports channel that is relatively big has way more subs than viewers. And JMR almost bucked that trend. Well, and I still want them to. I still am rooting for them, and I'm hoping that things continue to maybe take a better direction in the future. Who knows?
Well, part of that's not necessarily is beyond your control, because people always subscribe for specific content, and so as long as they have multiple different series, there will always be people who come to JMR only for that series, and thus won't actually subscribe because they don't want to see notifications for the other stuff.
But point being that beforehand, well, what I'm saying is compared to other big channels, JMR still has a higher percentage of retaining viewers because they make good quality. They have these did have a lot of organization and cheer and general agreement between the people working on the channel. And that's big. You need that. And if that falls apart, then JMR becomes another Fubica, where you have 500,000 subscribers and you get 10,000 viewers. And that math doesn't add up. That math does not add up. All right, right now JMR is about 1.35 million. And I mean, at least in the past, and some of the series they've had, we're hitting like 500,000 views. And that's fine. That's sensible. Especially if you take into account that some people like certain series and others. This season wasn't great on the views. But this is a one time, people, again, you have to think about the world context. People are getting out of the virtual thing now. We're starting to move back into regular life. So a lot of people taking a big break from YouTube in general. I know people who are doing that, who are not watching as much YouTube because, well, we kind of only watched YouTube for a year and then now we're back to life. But with those things aside, if we wait and see, and the JMR continues to break down on the inside, then it's going to keep going down, and that's the sad thing. So, I mean, I don't have a fix for you. I can't tell you what needs to happen. You can't make Novawolf do it. You can't just get all the old JMRC and be like, come on, just make it happen. You can't do that. But we have to at least tell you, because somebody, at least the people who listen to the show, should know that this is occurring. And maybe you guys might have a good idea, or just it's good to be informed.
Yeah, I can see that. I like they didn't give a specific reason, but I think we can all kind of extrapolate what the problem was. But I'm not gonna throw around like baseless accusations. So, but I feel like we all got kind of an idea of why. Right? I feel like we do.
Yeah. And we talked about this in the Dion episode 94. So, go watch that.
Dion actually recently rejoined the Marble-based server, so maybe they're trying to actually listen to the community more. So who knows? So maybe we'll see some positive growth. I'm always willing to give people another chance, because people are always growing and maturing and changing with time. So
that's true.
It's not like it's impossible for Dion to get better. I want Dion to be better, especially if they're going to continue to be influencing the content that we consume here.
Yeah, and I will root for him. It will take a lot we'll have to see some very direct action to start to believe that. But I mean, true, people do grow and change. I mean, Woff can tell you, I'm a lot different now than I was back in the X-Camo days. It's two different people. But, so yes, it can happen. But we have to see that. We have to see direct action. We have to see direct words saying that really oh wow, I really recognize that this was bad and I'm going to try to do this instead. And I'm going to do this instead. But this is not what today's episode's about, so we're not going to spend forever on it. We've already kind of spent 10 minutes on it, but it's important to be informed on that. Let's touch fantasy for a second. Fantasy for me, just to remind you, so there are 393 teams.
Some of them are duplicates, so it's smaller than that.
Let's go with 380. Okay, 380 teams. All right, at the beginning of of each fantasy decision, I say that for me to satisfactorily be confident that I did a good job, I need to finish in the top 10%, which would be in the top 38. I didn't do that. I finished in the top third. 109 actually was my final position, which was better than I was doing earlier. I kind of was down in the 200s for a while, while Rangers and other teams were really doing bad.
Wait, you finished in 109? What the?
Yeah,
oh
what did
my
you
god!
finish?
I just checked. I'm at 232.
Oh wow, dude, that's crazy. Woff was in the top 10 earlier on this season. DL, quickly things can change.
What the actual heck, man? That's. Oh my gosh, I was so strong at the start of this. I had 25. It was 25 points, I think, for event 16.
That is awful. That is bad. I do want to point out that I'm
25.
tied for 105th. And then there's a lot of people just tied for other placements above me. To give a general number differential, I'm at 1170 at 105. And if you scroll up to 10, that's 1210. That's 40 points difference. That's 100 places about, but 40 points difference. The top at 1247. You already hit the 1100s by place 25. So it was really close. 2 more events could give you completely different standings depending on who won. So it was close. But still, unsatisfactory for, I guess, marble sports connoisseurs like ourselves.
Super unsatisfactory for me.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, 232, man. I mean, 232, right? That's
Yeah, 232. I have 1,132 points. How many do you have again?
1,170. So not even that far behind.
The gap is very small still. It's like that's just because of how close this year was.
And that's the thing. When you look at the actual numbers, 1247 being the top, 928 being the very bottom. But scroll up a little bit even to the 200s. And most competitors, most fantasy teams, all the way down to about 250 are within 100 points of each other. Which, considering that you can gain about 1,200 points in a fantasy, being within 100 is not that many. Considering that about each event, you gain about 100 points. Or average 100 points. Sometimes 50, sometimes 120, sometimes 90, whatever. But that is not that far. If place 200 is only 100 points behind place 1, then that was a really damn close Marble League. It really speaks to the kind of Marble League we had this year.
Yeah, and that I guess that leads into our discussion points about the standings. Wow.
Very much so.
Like that is. I'm gonna pull up the banner, just keep looking at it again. But like the top 12, all were so close. Like the Savage Speeders, this is the first time below top 5, and they finished 12th, which like that sounds really bad. And under normal circumstances, I would agree. But like the gap between them and 5th place, because I think 5th, 6th, and 4th all tied with the same amount of points, was 9. They were 9 points away from their normal spot. Like. That's insane. It's not that they did bad that they placed low. It's that everybody's just doing fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make a defense for the Savage Beaters in a moment, and we're gonna go through each team in the standings. Thanks for bringing us there, Waff. But we're gonna hit these emails. You guys wrote in. We have a few emails, and you guys said things. So let's respond to them. You can email us, mswpodcast@gmail.com. We will read your emails on the show. We'll respond to them. They can be about anything you want them to be about, because this is our chance to connect with you. If you don't even want to talk about marbles, if you just have a life thing, you can email in about that, and we'll read it. But if you want to talk about marbles, of course, we're the podcast for that. So you can email about that too. Please do. So 3 emails here, and before we give you our standings opinions. First one from Ahmed. Apparently, Waff pronounced his name right, though I do have a friend named Ahmed, so I don't know. He says, no subject, by the way, very professional. Hello, MSW podcast. It's Ahmed again. Waff pronounced my name correctly, by the way. He said, so you need more. So this is the logic. He's trying to convince me that the winner of Marble Showdown should auto-qualify for the A-League. And last week I said to him, because he emailed in, I said to him, I appreciate that you're giving me this information, that you're standing for this particular opinion, but I just can't, because I don't believe it's a good idea. And with the information he gave, I was not nearly convinced that it was a good idea. And if he wants to convince me, if he wants to even give a possibility in hell or heaven that Marble Guy might change his mind on this topic, he's going to have to start by giving me a little bit more facts, reasoning, logic. And I guess same for Waff, because I feel, Waff, you disagreed with this too, right?
Initially I think I agreed, but I think I changed my mind on it afterward. I'm still on the fence about it. Let's hear what the rest he's got to say first.
Fair enough. That's a classic Waff answer. Everyone gets the benefit of the doubt. Okay, here we go. So he says, so you need more. Here's my logic to auto-qualify the winner of the showdown. The showdown will now be 8 events with 16 teams. That's true. That is a fact. You're starting on facts, good man. The ML qualifiers are only 4 events. The more events, the more teams feasibly qualify on talent, not luck. With only 4 events run in the middle of the pack, then one fortuitous bounce in their favor in the 4th event, and a bad team can qualify. A good team cannot with an unlucky bounce. That's true. to stay on top in 8 events against 16 teams. That's talent. Now, I'm going to stop right there before you read this. It's true. And we said this before. When they came out and made Showdown 4 events, I said that it should be at least 6 because you're not accurately and thoroughly testing the skill of all the teams if you're only doing 4 events. So the point he's making is one that I can agree with. See, he's starting well here. He really is. He's using my own point against because I don't know if maybe he didn't hear this episode because I went on a rant about this. I said that Showdown as 4 events is way too luck-based and not thorough. Fair. And you're right, the qualifiers are only 4 events. And the Showdown being 8 and finally doing that close to right, I still think 6 is the kind of golden number, but 8 is good. And qualifiers only being 4, well, he makes a point. So here's what he also says. He says, so Marble Guy, that be me, you're telling me that the last placed hapless Rojo Rollers is better than Galactic, the Wisps, or even the Cobalts, who are currently on top in the Showdown standings. Now, that, he wrote that, he sat down and he wrote that sentence and he was like, got him. Because when I read that out loud, my first thought is, man, he's right. The Rojo Rollers? Are they really better than Galactic? I mean, come on, Waff. Are the Rojo Rollers really better than Galactic? If you had to pick one of those teams, who would you pick?
Definitely Galactic. But I guess we are not going to talk about Showdown, but didn't both the Wisp and Galactic place kind of low in Showdown?
Galactic placed a funny-ass 5th. They placed 5th in the Showdown. It never
that's
gets
right.
old.
No.
It never gets old. And oh my god, I saw a post on the Reddit where it's like all Galactic checkmarks were hit. 5th in the Showdown, Starry saved them, Starry did well in the racing event. It hit all checkmarks. That I love Galactic. But that being said, he makes a good point. So let me go through each one of these points because I have to refute them one by one or I'm going to get confused. Start with the first one. Waff pronounced my name correctly. Good job, Waff. I know a friend who pronounces it Ahmed. So just to reiterate that. That's an easy one. So you can pronounce your name however you want. I know many pronunciations. I'm sorry that I did it wrong. Easy one. Okay, next one. I agree that the ML qualifiers don't have a lot of events and now half of Showdown events, so it's more luck based to get into the A League than to win Showdown. For Showdown you have to be a lot more consistent. But I don't know if the perspective is right there. Because the way I look at it is I look from the base of Showdown. Let's look at a team who's never competed in a Marble League before. Okay? A team who has never touched Gel Marbles World. They start in Showdown. They have to be consistent through 8 events. They have to win. And then they have to go to the qualifiers and be extra consistent through another 4 events. To then qualify for the A League. And that's in essence what has to happen for all the teams who are in Showdown right now. They have to be consistent through their 8. This year, everyone qualifies, whatever. But in most years. And then they have to go over and be consistent for another 4. To even just get to the A-League. All right? And if you are already in the A-League and you only have to go to the qualifiers, yes, it's an easier road for you to get back to the A-League, but it should be. It should be. Because you were in the A-League, and you competed in those 16 events, which is a lot more than 8. Double 8.
Well, I mean...
And that's the reward for that.
But the other point is that because there's so many few in the qualifier, it also can lead to a good team not making it just because of bad luck, too. Like again, Galactic. I'm pretty sure Galactic would have done better than a lot of the marbles at the bottom of the standings.
I agree, and the 4 events it does make it a little more luck based. I agree with that. I'm not going to pretend like that's not true. But to use that as the point to tell me that I should auto qualify the winner of Showdown because it's harder to win Showdown than to win the qualifiers. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter who wins the qualifiers. You don't have to win the qualifiers to move on. You have to do okay. That's all you have to do. And actually, because there's not many events, it does demand a level of consistency, because if you can't consistently be decent, you will not qualify. And honestly, I would rather a Team Galactic team, who's 5th every time in the Marble League, than a team who does really well for 3, but really tanks 1. Because if you do well for 3 events, and you tank 1 so bad that you don't even qualify, then you really did bad in that event. And that's not, you have a gap, like a large chasm of skill, of lack of skill. Not a chasm of skill. That'd be a lot of skill. And that is not deserving of qualification. So I see your point, and I feel like that's a point that we could really go back and forth a lot on, because I'm giving you a reasoning, you're giving me a reasoning, and that one gets cloudy. But you're making a comparison that, I mean, there's 2 different things, the qualifiers and Showdown, and then I can also bring up the very cloudy point, well, wouldn't it be easier to be consistent and win Showdown than it would to be in the qualifiers, even if it was 8 events, because you have much harder teams in the qualifiers than was in the Marble League if you even had only 8 events, because much harder teams in the Marble League. So then you have to talk about the difficulty and the competition level, and it gets cloudy there. But I like this point.
I think maybe like these are all great points, but maybe this is more like this can also just work as reasons for why they should just add more events to qualifiers.
Well, I honestly think they should do 6 and 6. And because of this point that he brings up, I think they should do 6 qualifiers and 6 showdowns, because then it first of all gives enough events for a thorough assessment. And it still allows, it still keeps balance, because now you can't say, well, the qualifiers is luck, but Showdown's actually hard. Or you can't say, well, the Showdown's luck, but the qualifiers are actually hard. No, it's like they're both the same. And that's what it should happen. Use different events, but you should do that. You should have an equal balance and number there. So from this point, Ahmed, I would say that my conclusion is not based in, oh, yes, let's send the winner of Showdown to A-League. No, it's probably that they should balance the number of qualifiers to Showdown, 6 and 6. I've been saying this for a long time, and they keep dancing around it. 6 and 6 makes so much sense, and it's too much sense, I guess. I don't know. But it was a good point. I feel like a blow to the point. I feel like, you know what? You're getting there. So, his second point. And here's a good one. So he says again, so Marble Guy told me that the last place, Rojo Rollers, are better than Team Galactic, the Whiffs, or even the Cobalts, who are top in the Showdown standings. Oh, man. And again, this one is a great point. I really like this one. I respect him for saying this. Because, in truth, the Rojo Rollers aren't an overall better team than Team Galactic. They're not. They're not overall. But then again, I'd say to you, the Savage Speeders are a 12th place finishing this team this year. And they're better than every team in front of them. They're better than Mellow Yellow. They're better than Raspberry Racers. They're better than Gliding Glaciers. They are way better than Gliding Glaciers. Like, it's not even a contest. Like, Waff, I'm asking you a question, Waff. If someone said to you, you get a choice. You get a choice to have the Savage Speeders or the Gliding Glaciers. Who are you picking?
I would go with Savage Speeders just for consistency, but like, wasn't the Glaciers this year a whole brand new competitors, like all new competitors?
Yeah, they're new.
So they're more unknown. If it was like still like the same Glaciers as before, it would be definitely a hard no for me from them. But like, because they are more unknown and their one true performance here was so high, I could understand someone actually picking them over them now.
All right, well, that would be a silly pick. and you didn't even make that pick, so understand.
I mean, no, I didn't, because I'm still gonna go with with the tried and true.
Yes. But I mean, I guess fair point. And that was a bad one because the Gliding Glaciers are so unknown, and that's why I put them on my fantasy, because they're like an unknown dark horse. But maybe a different question.
Man,
How
you
about
were so smart on that one?
I was really dumb on other shit, so it balances out. But Savage Speeders, okay, or Chocolatiers. Savage Speeders or Chocolatiers?
Okay.
Wow. Give me an answer.
Savage Speeders.
Chocolatiers finished 5 places above, though. Why not pick the Chocolatiers? Why not auto-qualify them for A-League? They beat the Savage Speeders.
Dude, this year is so jank.
No, listen, but my point being, it is very janky year. My point being is that just because in a specific, I really do too. In a specific moment, one team that is overall worse, and we know it, than another team is performing better. They slipped into the A-League. They got through the qualifiers. They performed better in those 4 events. Does not mean that you should give more credence to a lower league. And so, I don't know. And like I said, example being, of course, Savage Speeders, by past numbers, should not be behind the Chocolatiers, should not be behind the Shining Swarm, should not be behind the Hazers, should not be behind the Gliding Glaciers, should not be behind Mellow Yellow Shat. But they are. So that's my response to those points. I feel like these were pretty strong points, though. Like I couldn't really break them down to nothing, where no stone was left upon another. I wonder who will get that reference. But it, I still don't. It doesn't convince me. And listen, I like to be convinced of things, because I like to have a strong opinion where I have facts. So if I'm convinced, I will tell you. I can be convinced, and you're getting there. I feel like you put a blow, but I'm not into it yet.
Yeah. Well, I think good arguments, but I think we should move on, because we haven't even talked about the event yet. So let's move forward.
We got other emails, but okay, these are all Marvel League related, so these kind of touch on the topic. So Pinkies related stuff for Showdown Part 2 podcast episode. So this is not for today. This email is not for today. So I guess we won't do this one today. This is Showdown stuff and about the Pinkies. So we're gonna hold off on this email to then, which is probably good, because we're about a half hour in. It's long. It is long. So, Edu. The League of Multiple Possibilities. Man, that is an intriguing subject. Edu writing in. He says, ML 2021 had everything. Traditional teams failed to move on, and leaving a unique opportunity for mostly forgotten players to shine, while others turned around a bad year so far. What appeared to be just a momentary oddity eventually became the way this league progressed. Events with a mix of established contenders and athletes whose potential was unknown set the narratives of the season. Surprising wins, disappointments, a runaway leader who faltered, dynasty statuses reaffirmed and doubted, lack of regularity, an 11-way fight for the major honors, rookies coming from behind, wow, a long list, coming from behind to get into the podium, and the glory of a team that was close to the championship in previous opportunities. Lots of great emotions to recap. I'm sure I missed something. Well, you didn't miss much, man. You kind of capped it. Event review. The Decider. The track design is underwhelming. It's just an oval with 2 sand straights. Despite the simple looks, it delivered intense action in both the Showdown and the main league. Almost every racer tried something to jump to the front and secure a win. A wide open race for a wide open championship. Extra notice, the JMR competitive season is most likely over for this year. From Twitter, thanks for watching the Marble League 2021. We're going to take a break and hope to build big marble runs in the coming months. The Master and his team deserve this break to recharge the batteries and make more exciting tournaments next year, especially as this league turned out to be very good after some turbulent moments. Time to rest. Waff.
Okay, yes. So, now, anyways, the question, yes, I agree. This was an incredible year. Like, it was, like, all over the place. You really, like, so many different teams had a chance to win it. It was so intense. I did record, actually, a reaction of the final event. I haven't reviewed the footage yet, so I don't know if it's actually good enough to actually upload, but if it is, you'll see it. But, like, I would, like, the entire time, I was just, like, so tense, like seeing how it could go. Like you could see like suddenly like Momo would be on the podium on the side there in 8th place, but then suddenly would disappear because of the changes in other parts of the standings. And so like
yeah.
So like even if the team is doing this just as good, like all the racing could like affect another team, and it was just like it was so good. It really was. I think this might be my favorite Marble League. This might be it.
I mean, yeah, and it's such a bummer that this Marble League comes in a year with such turmoil inside the organization. It really was the closest one, and honestly, if I wasn't so caught up with my fantasy team, I mean, I'm a happy guy. It's a fun Marble League. Mellow Yellow wins. I have a Mellow Yellow shirt over there somewhere here, actually. I love that team. They're my top 3. Mellow Yellow Limas and the Cat's Eyes. Cat's Eyes somehow jumped up to clawed their way up. See what I did there? Up to 5th. Somehow. I mean, it was a crazy Marble League. Glad and Glacier started in like 13th and ended in 3rd. I don't even know how that happened. It was a really exciting event. I agree with Wolf. I don't know how you can get much better, honestly, as far as, especially if you're a newcomer and you just want something exciting. I mean, to get to the last event, and literally every time there's a change in positions on the side, there's a different winner. You don't see that often. You don't see that very often. All right, final email. Qualifying format, Richard Hinckley. Richard Hinckley, always with the very elaborate ideas here, but let's see what he has to say. Format for qualifying with 3 stages. So 3 groups, I guess? All right, let's see. Stage 1, 3 groups. Group A, 4th to 12th from the Marble League. Okay. Group B, 13 to 16th Marble League. And the first 4 from the Showdown. So another Group A. Group C, 5th to 12th from the Showdown. Already I'm not sure. Top 4 in Group A advance to the Marble League. Bottom 4 in Group A remain in Group A. Top 4 Group B move up to Group A. Bottom 4 Group B stay in Group B. Top 4 in Group C move up to Group B. Bottom 4 in Group C eliminated. Okay. You pulled back from that. That's all right. Stage 2. Top 4 Group A qualify for Marble League. Bottom 4 Group A. So again, another shifting. Bottom 4 A remain in A. Top 4 from B move to A. Bottom 4 in B eliminated, because now there's only 2 groups. Final, top 4 in Group A advance. So what you're saying is that Showdown participants from the 5th to 12th have to do well like freaking 3 times just to get to the Marble League in qualifiers. I don't know how many events this takes to go through. Maybe 2 events at a time. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to tell. But that would be a lot of events to qualify.
Yeah.
Or only like a couple events for each. But I mean, it is. I mean, Waf, if you think about it, let's say it's 6 events. Let's say it's 6 events and 2 events for each of the stages. You just shed the worst 4. You shed the worst 4 every. Well, you qualify the best 4 and shed the worst 4 every 2 events, which is not terrible. Like, it's not. I don't like it better than what they're doing now, because I like marbles to have to be there and exist for a good set of events and have to do well, and then just be better than the other teams when the final score comes out. But to do like the shedding where you just have to be, it demands immediate results, right? No matter who you are, you got to just start well, okay? And you have to continue to be well, as good as you can, just to avoid that bottom 4. Honestly, it's not the worst. It really is not the worst idea.
I mean, I guess it's not the worst. I mean, maybe it's just the way it's described, but I always find these very hard to kind of understand, and I can definitely tell that it would probably confuse others. I feel like the simpler solution was what we said earlier, where you just add more events to qualifiers, just so it's not as luck-based. It's a lot simpler, and it's much easier to understand, and it doesn't take as much effort to restructure either.
Right, and Richard is saying, he's in the live chat, he says that this was a effort to give an advantage to the top 4 showdown finishers, which it does give a slight advantage to them, putting them in because they're in a higher group. And it does really kind of group marbles by their performance in the previous Marble League and where they are. So, I mean, I'm not against it, but I'm not really for it.
Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge it because I really struggle with understanding it. Like I've always had like I think it's just the way it's worded every time. But like I really do struggle with Richard's emails every time when like, describing these like really complex systems for qualifying and competing. Like it's just all like you really need like a visual. At least I'm more of a visual guy. I really need a visual to understand stuff like that. Either that or you have to really be very precise in your wording.
Yeah. And well, I mean, he's explaining complex ideas, and so I understand why it gets cloudy, because like sometimes I read and I'm just like, this is a lot going on here. And often the best answer to something is the simplest. That's, what is that, Occam's razor?
Yes, Occam's razor.
That's
or it's like the simplest solution is usually the correct one.
Yeah, something along those lines. So, I mean, I would say personally that seems like a good idea to solve a specific problem, but it would create other problems. I would have to look in to see what those other problems would be, but it's complex. So the more complex something is, the more room there is for problems. Kind of like when when someone invents something new, right? You invent a new thing, right? And when you invent a new thing, you invent that new thing to serve a purpose. Okay, that's what you do. It does one thing, and that's why you invented it. But when you invent a new thing and it serves a purpose and it's great and you sell it, then over time, you have to make the new thing better, or then it becomes weird, annoying, and outdated, or old, or whatever. So you have to make it better. So what happens is people overcomplicate it. They add touchscreens to it, they add weird colors or skins to it or whatever, and they just start to overcomplicate the thing. And you'll find, like cars being a good example here, that the overcomplicated cars with all the extra things, like the sunroof and the touchscreen and the giant TV in the back or whatever, often have more problems than the basic thing that serves the purpose that it was made for. So analogy to hopefully help you understand why simpler solutions are better. Yeah, and the fact that there probably is more problems with it, but I don't see them quite yet.
We got live chat that's helping us with some of the problems. Since gonna give me some good ones. Like so just to make sure, like every 2 events, like teams get like the bottom 4 get like shaved off. Is that what you said?
In essence.
Okay, so like Stin kind of gives a good explanation for why that's not very fair. It's like, so say the first 2 events are block pushing, then 5 meter sprint. The next 2 are 5-meter relay and final endurance, and then the final 2 are swing wave and underwater race. They're still typing, but like I think I get where this point is going is like each set is contesting very different skills, and it's not really fair to cull the numbers just because like they were in facing off in events that were just not their personal strength, but the next ones would have complemented them very well, and would have moved on. Oh yeah, here's the rest of it. A team in one of the groups bombs early on and doesn't get to compete in all the other events. Yeah, exactly. We're on the same wavelength there, Stinth, you and me.
Oh, ha! Because Stinth is a type of wave, isn't it? Or is that synth?
That's the power of being Momo fans. Is like when you're a diehard Momo fan like we are.
Oh, you know what? You guys actually both Momo fans?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's not another Momo fan I know who is bigger than Stinth.
Synthwave, yeah. Okay, so
Synthwave, yes! I'm riding the Synthwave.
Hey, write that down, Mr. Waff. I'm riding the Synthwave.
Yes, I'm writing that down.
Hey, we haven't one of those in a minute. I think Synth is right, and I think, listen, Richard, and I really like when you write these emails, because you're forthcoming with an idea that is good to talk about. Like, it may not be the best idea, but if you put it out there and you allow discussion, then we can find a better idea. Okay? Oh, awesome. Thanks, Stint, for being a Stint Wave now. So thank you for writing that in. I think Stint makes a good point. You want to allow, because, I mean, there are teams that are better than other things, other events than other teams. I mean, the winner of this year's Marble League, because we're going to be jumping right into this topic in a minute, Mellow Yellow has a 0 in final endurance and a 0 in 5-meter relay, and they won. Okay? I mean, like, so there are teams that are terrible at certain things. Even the best team overall in the world, Mellow Yellow right now is considered the best team in the world. As of right now. That is your best marble team on the planet. And they have 0 points in final endurance and 5-meter relay. And that's why you can't do that shedding thing. And I think it's a cool idea. But it really does make it unfair for certain teams. Like, imagine Mellow Yellow coming in there and having to do final endurance and 5-meter relay right off the bat. And then events 4 and 5, or 3 and 4, or are like sand moguls and diving, stuff that they're really good at. Then, it's kind of unfair that they never got to those 4 and 5. So yeah.
Stinth changed their name to Stinth Wave in the chat. Let's go. I love this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned that. I was really happy.
I love this community, but I just want to say, I don't think we say it enough. I love you guys. I love all of you. Thank you so much for supporting us.
All right, sorry, I yelled at.
I'm an emotional guy, all right? I put my feelings on my sleeves.
All right. Well, those are the emails. And so that leaves one thing. So we're going to go through, this will be a longer episode, whatever. We're going to quickly talk about the event. And then after the event, we're actually going to go one by one through each of the teams, spend a minute or a couple minutes on them and talk about them as a team, themselves, and what's unfortunate. And then we'll wrap up. Yeah. So, and of course, if you're watching, you'll know where the timestamps are. So if you jumped here because we took forever on the emails, hello. But we did take a while on the emails, but we give you guys the time. And it's all right.
Should we do trivia to bridge the gap between the two? Like really fast?
It's a late episode at this point, but you know what? Yeah, fine. You know what? This is a big deal episode. This is a huge deal episode. Let's do trivia.
It is the finale of Marble League, so I think people are okay with this being a bit more in depth.
It's gonna be a long one. It's just gonna be a long one. All right. So let's do trivia.
We'll try and do it really fast.
Well, that's something that we can never achieve, but let's try it. So play that music. Is it playing? I'm not even gonna say it that much. Chat. Play the music. Trivia.
Now it's time for the trivia segment. Come on now, let's go, go, go. Go, go, go.
All right. I'm hoping we're at trivia because let's do it. Wolf, why don't you start with Richard's question on the email, and then I'll do Super Yaks.
Okay. All right. So Richard's question is, name the top 5 Marble League teams. Yeah, just name the top 5 Marble League teams. All right, so Savage Speeders is on top.
Oh, no way. They finished 12th, though, so they should. They're not a good team at all, and we should auto-qualify Mellow Yellow for Marble Showdown. Sorry, I was just making fun of that other point.
I remember when I first saw this question, I was like, oh yeah, maybe some more up in there. Then remember, oh wait a minute, the standings were so dang close. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Savage Speeders are still top of the list. No question.
Yeah, no.
Then there's our Rangers next.
The Rangers.
Mellow Yellow might have shot up there now.
I could see Mellow Yellow at 5th. Honestly,
I think 5th. Yeah,
I'd put Midnight Wisps and Raspberry Racers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I would say Raspberry Racers for 3rd, and then
I would put
who'd be my last one?
I would put Racers 3rd, Wisps 4th, and Mellow Yellow 5th. And honestly, I think that it's not a trick question. I mean, those are just the best teams. I think we might miss a couple.
I would say Hazers for 4th.
Ooh, Hazers for 4th. Ooh, good point. I think I'm gonna stick with.
So we got our answers. So let's check. The answers are. Well, they put the stats for everybody. Okay,
wow,
so Savage
are above our Rangers.
Savage Speeders are in 1st, but of course, but then Hazers are 2nd. Oh, Rangers are in 3rd.
Dude, what? Green Ducks are 4th.
Green Ducks are in 4th, and then Cat's Eyes are 5th. Wow. And they also put an average without the maze race.
Enough with the maze race.
Yeah, they ranked it. At least they didn't rank it with the maze race. This is kind of there, but so we got 3. I got 3 out of the 5. So hey, I'm pretty happy. Raspberry Racers were 6th. So they were close.
What is this obsession with just remove it? It doesn't matter. It does not. Is this the amazing race? Is it the one that's the amazing race? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just stupid. It's a terrible event. It's a terrible video. I'm gonna go. I should go dislike the video right here on stream on show.
I guess I should also point out that their ranking list is based on averaging, not total points. So I guess that's probably.
Oh
so,
no, I want to see total points.
See, I guess event average wise, yeah, that makes more sense. But like, in terms of points, it's not that way. So
Oh no, but then total. No, but you have to do an averaging because some teams haven't been here as long. So that's
true.
Yeah. Why the maze race? Stop with the maze race. Like, stop. Go away. Okay? Just stop
All right.
with that.
Anyways, hey, now your turn, Brendan. Go with your
People
question.
keep bringing
Go,
it
go,
up,
go.
like in emails every once in a while. It's like, oh, well, what about the amazing race? I heard the Chocolatiers did well. Shut up. Like, what? All right, enough. Okay.
Okay.
Next question. All right. Shit, sorry, I got distracted for a second. All right, Super Yak, difficulty extreme. Thank you. Unless you're a speeders fan like me. Well, I like the speeders. Question: name all 13 Savage Speeders gold medals in the ML. Yes, all 13. Who can get the most right? Make sure to include the year of each event. No M1 or qualies or World Marble League or Winter or whatever.
Just Marble League. Okay.
Well-
Okay, so event 16 from 2016, or was it 12 from 2016? I think it was 12 events in 2016. The last one. So the relay was relay in 2016.
Gold is a lot.
They won two this year. What was it?
The 5 meter relay they won this year. They killed in that this year.
I thought Momo won relay.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, you're right. Speeders won relay this year.
By the way, I'm not looking. I have my Discord window over all the standings for the speeders, so if you know it's showing on the Chrome, I'm not looking at it.
Man, this is tough.
Yeah.
This is gonna take a while. We're just gonna be sitting here just throwing random crap around.
I mean, I'll just blow some right off. I'm gonna give them 3 5. No, they like always won 5 meter relay, so I'm gonna give them 3 5 meter relay right off the bat. I'm gonna give them 4 5 meter sprint. No, yeah, I should give them 4 5 meter relay. I'm gonna give them
4 or 5 meter relays.
I'm gonna give them 3 5 meter sprint, so that's already 7. I'm going to give them. I'm gonna give them. I'll give them a sand rally. Because why not? I'll give them 2 hurdles. Because why not? That's 10. I'll give them a weird one. Like I'll give them a long jump. So 11. I'll give them like a triathlon biathlon. So that's 12. And I'll give them a collision. 13. That's what I'll go with.
I'll only give them one hurdles. I'll give them the biathlon. So that's basically the same thing as you. So 10 for me now, because we're not gonna take time for me to list a whole bunch of random events.
Yeah, random years or whatever. Yeah.
3 more. I'll say 1 collision, 1 shoot. I had one in my mind. 1 funneling. No, not funnel endurance.
No, I don't think they win funnel. They do not win funnel. They might, maybe 1. I don't know.
I think they won balancing one time. I don't. We're supposed to list years, but come on, we're not. This is not.
Yeah,
we're not.
Like this
it's
is
not
really hard. Maybe if we had a really slow episode, but if we don't.
Yeah, and then I guess the last one I'll say is yeah, that event.
Yeah,
there's gotta be another one. I don't know. Steeplechase in 2017. I think I don't know that they didn't.
It's just all over
whatever.
the map.
I'm just gonna say steeplechase. No, Sam Moguls. Sam Moguls one time. Sure.
All right. Well, let's see. So we got 2016 relay, 2016
yeah.
water race, 10 meter sprint. So that's like giving them a 5 meter sprint. I should have known that there was one 10 meter sprint, but you guys know what I meant. Okay. Hurdles, 2016, 2017 relay, 2017 steeplechase, 2019.
Oh, wait, I should. Dang it! Wait,
We should have 2019 funnels, 2019 underwater race, 2020 relay, 2020 black holes. That's event. I don't want to see that. This event's awful. 2020 collision. I did give them a collision. 2021 relay and 2021 triathlon. So I mean, I wasn't bad. I gave them a triathlon, so I'll get that right. I gave them 4 relay, and they've won 1, 2, 3, 4. They won 4 relay. I gave them 4. I gave them 3 sprint. So, but I only got. Oh, they only won sprint 1 time, so they only got 1. I gave them a collision, so that's the one. I did not give them a funnels. I did give them a hurdle. I gave them 2 hurdles, but they only won 1. So that leaves me with 8, I believe. 8 out of the 13 I got.
Yeah, I got something where I think I got one more than you just because of that one. I guess I said one hurdles instead of two. Well, actually, I think it's the same. Two of my guesses of funnels and steeplechase would have actually gotten me most stuff. I don't know. I don't care. It's okay. We're done here.
Yeah, that was a hard question, but thank you, Super Yak, for running that in. For people, there's probably some guy out in the audience who listens every week who gets this question right. I want to hear from gets all the questions right, and he's like, "Oh my god, I know it." I wonder who that guy
I'm a
is.
marble sports connoisseur, but even a connoisseur has their limits.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have our limits. But with that being said, that will do it for trivia. Play that music. Boom.
That was the trivia segment. Now let's head back to the show. The show. Oh.
All right, and I'm just gonna jump right back into it. I think the music's already played, so that leaves us with one more thing to do this episode. And yes, it's a long one. We are about at an hour of the after news stuff, and we're probably gonna go for another 15 minutes. So we're gonna go through each team. Well, we first have to talk about Marblocross, and then we have to go through each team.
Let's do the overall stuff. I want to say going into this, I don't know how many of you guys read it. If you haven't, go do it. But Fokoff did a article that was released the day before, and I swear it is basically like reading the script for a movie scene before the big climax. That's how it felt. I could vividly picture it's basically all the teams, their marbles, they were going around there talking. Some of them were interacting with other teams, trying to motivate each other, talking about what they gotta do, what they have to deal with, and it was so, I was so gosh dang pumped after I read that. It's I am ready to run a freaking mile. You almost got another curse out of me. You almost got it. It was. Fokoff did such an amazing job with that.
Every time you say Fokoff's name, you're cursing. I mean, come on,
it added so much to the atmosphere. I the whole race. It was so tense. I was I wish I was watching the other ones. I was want to see Thunderbolts, how they were doing and stuff. But I was so busy watching Momo's the bronze in their name changing every few seconds. They're almost on the podium, but they're not quite. It's man. But then the overall, it was still great. Momo, they tied for fourth. So, they're still on that upward trend. Like I've been saying, they're trending in the positive direction. And that's all I could ask for. It's incredible. I didn't think they were going to win this year. They gave me more hopes at the beginning, but ultimately my instinct was correct. They weren't going to win, but still fantastic. Minty Maniacs, they came out, they got that medal. They're making this the first year where all the teams got a medal. But you don't count 2016 because the Snowballs did not deserve a consolation bronze medal. You can't have 2 third places. That's just not how that works.
Yeah, that was silly. But yeah, that is interesting. Every team has a medal, and even down to the whole friggin' rolls.
Yeah, there's so much history being made. First time all the teams got a medal, the closest Marble League ever. The Mellow Yellow is now they're now Marble League champions. That's their first time. So much happened this year. It's so incredible.
Every Showdown team got a medal too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did.
Every team in 2020, every Marble team, every existing Gels Marble team in 2020, besides those Hornets and Jawbreakers, that competed in anything in 2021 has received a medal. That is actually really, really awesome. What it shows is that, some teams are getting better. And you know what? Some teams are getting worse. Savage Beaters should have more medals. They should have more medals this year. They only 2 goals. To be fair,
normally, yes, but to be fair to them, there were a whole lot of brand new events, or at least variations to old ones. So they're not. So we can. I'm willing to give them.
They only had 2 medals.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Still, they had a lot of the new events were dominated by teams we don't normally see performing. So like the Gliding Glaciers took over in soccer, and while the Limers didn't win, I argue they had the second best performance of the entire event. If they just didn't feast the Glaciers early on, they would have made it to the podium.
You mean what? What do you
mean? The Limers, like in soccer, they would have. I feel like they would have made it to the podium if they didn't face the Glaciers so early on. A lot of these new events were dominated by teams who don't normally do so well, and that took away some medals from the Speeders.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the speeders still should have more than 2 medals. That's true, but there was also a lot of old events. Steeplechase? Where were the speeders in steeplechase? Triathlon? Well, I say one triathlon.
Well, steeplechase was on. Okay, let's be real here. Steeplechase was not very good. It was everybody struggled with that one.
I actually like the event, but it's a very stressful event. It's difficult. Jousting? I mean, jousting was actually the Savage Speeders didn't do bad. Final endurance, 5-minute sprint, 5-minute sprint for high points. I mean, it's not. They should have more medals.
I guess,
they gold in 5-meter sprint. If they gold in 5-meter sprint, they win or podium in the Marble League.
Sure, but again, like they were only 9 points away from fourth place. Like the gap was like it really isn't like sure this is standings wise this is their worst year, but they still performed roughly like everybody it was just everybody was on their A game aside from the bottom 4.
Fair enough. I think the Savage Speeders had a mediocre year for that team.
The Limers almost made 100 points. They were at 99 at the end. They almost made it.
That sucks for them. I love the Limers though. Anyway, so Marblocross as an event. Let's put it up here on the YouTube. Getting towards the end. We might have to do a go through of all the standings at a different episode because we're over an hour right now. I thought we were gonna have time for it. It might be next episode for that. So let's talk about Marblocross though, because we have time. JMR's taking a break, and so we have another episode where we can sit and reflect on each of the teams, and I could talk about the problems with my fantasy. So we just wait till next week. There's always a next week as long as you don't die. So I would do that. But Marblocross in general, are you okay with that, Wolf? By the way, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that discussion next week.
Yeah, like. I'm sure MFA is going to want to talk about Marble League in depth anyway, so once he's guessing on the episode, we'll be doing that anyways.
I'll make time to make sure he comes on next week, and we will do that. We will go through each of the teams. We'll hear what he has to say as a guest, which is awesome. And then probably the following week, we'll hit you guys with the Showdown collab episode. So,
or the opposite, whichever order it works out.
We'll figure it out. Marblocross as an event rating. This one's a hard one because I really like the event, and I disagree that the oval shape is a bad thing. I think the oval shape allows for just simple racing, just simple. The sand does some of the work with the chicanes, but it's just going to be simple, and it's going to be about fast marbles. It's going to be about passing. It's not going to be about hitting a turn like Greenstone every 3 feet or 3 meters or 3 inches or whatever. And it's going to be about just plain racing. So I like the oval shape. I love this. I love the sand, the 2 different sand patches. It really makes it feel like a different terrain course and not just like a Marbula 1 track. And the oval shape also adds to that too. So it didn't feel like Marbula 1 track, and so it did well in that. Now I still think Sand Rally is the best way to end a Marble League. I will always think that. All right, and I am satisfied with the way the Marble League was ended this year. Because I think the Marblocross was well done. But I still think the Sand Rally is the way to end it. And because of that, I can't give it a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's a good event, but it's not the fit end to a Marble League.
8 out of 10 for you?
Yep.
So my opinions on Marblocross were so mixed after a Showdown. Like part of the reasons, so I think Marblocross was announced back in July or something like that. So we had roughly 2 months where first of all I thought it was on dirt, not on sand. But then Flair notified me of the truth last week, so I at least have time to change the expectation. But then I saw it was only 2 patches where I could have sworn I heard it was gonna be mostly sand. So so part of the problem was I had expectations for what I was gonna see, and it didn't end up being that way. So I did feel a little let down, but just viewing it as how it all turned out, it was a fantastic event. It was incredibly intense, very close. It was no team really ever pulled ahead and took a lead. I didn't Red Eye. I kind of expected to do that, but Red Eye actually just kind of. They recovered quite well near the end. I think that last lap, but for the rest of it, Red Eye really didn't dominate. It was actually other teams who were just constantly fighting back and forth. I loved like seeing like Nova's work again, like, and as well as like whoever was in charge of calculating each lap or yes, each position change. It looked like they changed the graphic on the left side every time positions change. Like you could see like a team like was silver or gold or bronze. Like they were constantly updating who was in third or first or second. Like heck, the Raspberry Racers got second and they finished second to last, which is just ridiculous. But that's how it is. If I had like, so like it was intense to watch. Like I was always on the edge of my seat the entire time, wondering if they could make it, if Momo could make it to the podium, if the Minties would get their medal, all that stuff. So despite being not what I wanted it to be, it was still, and being very simple, the structure did allow for surprisingly very close racing that was very intense. Probably, I think I felt like it's been a long time since I wrote like the watching of the end of of a Sand Rally race for a Marble League. So I can't remember how it felt for me, but this felt like the most intense finale that I've ever seen. Part of it is, admittedly, because Momo was actually in contention for podium position, so bias there. I would say
No, I mean,
I think 9 out of 10. I think just my enjoyment of it was great. There's still room for improvement to make it even more incredible, but it worked out. It all worked out.
No, yeah, it was a great event. It was really exciting, and I think one of the coolest things about this is, well, not coolest things, just interesting thing. I mean, the Raspberry Racers. I mean, the Raspberry Racers were I mean, if you want to look at final standings here, Raspberry Racers are only a few points from being the first team to be a repeat champion.
Well, the second team to be a repeat champion.
Oh crap! I thought I was going to say 2 times in a row champion, but the Savage Speeders won last year. But the second team, sorry, to be a repeat champion. And that would be crazy to see, because the Savage Speeders, you kind of expect the Savage Speeders to be a repeat champion, because I don't know why I said first team. I think I got confused with 2 times in a row, and for some reason I said first team. But it's definitely second team, because I talked about the Savage Speeders being a repeat champion like 100 times. So I'm really dumb. But the second, and that's really important, because the Savage Speeders, you kind of expect that from. They're easily the best team in Gels Marbles world. They've been here since 2016. They won the first one, so they kind of had a lot of time to come back and win another one. But the Raspberry Racers are new. They won in 2019. So if they had won this year, it would have been like win, then step back to let the Speeders do well, then boom, win again. And that would be like almost even more impressive, and a much younger team being a repeat champion. So I think that was really cool. Unfortunately, of course, for them, Mellow Yellow just squeaked by. And honestly, it was not really easy to help that. I mean, actually, at the end of the race, and I think I believe I remember this right, but Mellow Yellow, I believe Mellow Yellow was actually just beat out by the O-Rangers at the last second here. Yeah, so the O-Rangers actually allowed Mellow Yellow to win, because the O-Rangers couldn't hold on to the lead, right? They couldn't hold on. Oh, no, this is the last lap. No, I'm in the last lap. So the O-Rangers, did they get ahead? I don't think so, because they were passed right at the end of 21. And the O-Rangers... Oh, they do pass. So the O-Rangers did pass, but that didn't make an effect on it. Mellow Yellow would need to have placed 4th. Raspberry Racers finished like 15th, so that was on them, kind of. But to put that all on the Raspberry Racers is just... I mean, it's true. They did bad. I thought the O-Rangers were second, were a third-place finish team, and actually gave it up to Mellow Yellow. But no, they actually passed them right at the end. And Mellow Yellow would have needed to finish in 4th or even lower to avoid or to not have won. And so it was really a clear win for Mellow Yellow because of how bad the Raspberry Racers were, which is a shame, because I would have put the Raspberry Racers at a high probability to do well in something like Marblocross as a better racing team, but it fell up short. But it was really exciting to the end, and I saw Momo had a bronze name right there for a second, like they were going to jump back up. The Gliding Glacier somehow coming out of nowhere. The Speeders even had a moment where they were doing well. It was really all over the place. But it's a fitting end. It's a fitting end. And the closing ceremony, well, it was fun to watch too. I just love watching all the stop motion and then bring the cup up and then put all the teams out there as they all go through I'll go through.
Love the music that Minos composed for that section. I love
Yeah.
that. Love that a lot. Since I point out something that I completely missed, like because of I guess letting Kinnuan take that position, they beat the Savage Speeders in the standings. I didn't even think about that. I didn't realize that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, to be the team that finishes 10th, to beat the team that's 12th is. I wish it was under more exciting circumstances that the Rangers beat the Savage Speeders.
Well, I mean, like back to your perspective, like you were like hounding the Rangers for doing so terribly this whole season.
They
To see
did.
them still manage to beat the Speeders in the end, it's kind of nice.
Well, and that's a discussion for a
you.
different episode when we go through all the teams, because I want to talk about really how bad did these teams actually do, because it looks bad number wise, but the 13th that the Rangers collected in 2017 is a lot different from the 10th they collected this year. Right? And the Savage Speeders getting 12th, yes, is a lot worse than 5th. But they were 9 points from 3rd. So that's going to be part of that discussion. 4th, whatever. That's going to be part of that discussion because while it's still an unfortunate end to the Savage Speeders, that always top 5 kind of stigma, and they'll never have it again because they can't go back and change this year. And they're obviously the only team that held on to that even this long, which is impressive. It still is not as bad as if they were as like the whole Rollers and the amount of points they had, or if they had 13th in a different year that wasn't nearly as close. It's actually not terrible, but that's going to be part of that discussion as well. Marblocross, honestly, they need to put Sand Rally here, but it was still a fun event.
Agreed. There was another. Oh, it was like the announcement of the host. It is the Green Ducks. So we kind of said that in the intro, but hey, okay, that's gonna be fun to see the Green Ducks there. Like they've always been like a fun, like one of the more popular rookie teams. I haven't really seen them performing as well since their debut, but hey, like they still did. They did pretty good. Oh, the other thing to mention, the Gliding Glacier is I think. I don't know how often this happens, but like as far as I'm aware, like I think the only other rookie team to get a medal in their debut year, aside from 2016, of course, was the Green Ducks in 2019. So unless I'm mistaken, the Gliding Glaciers are the second team to ever do that.
As a definite new team, yeah, we can quantify them as such. So
correct.
I'm really impressed with the Glaciers. The Glaciers did so good that I'm going to talk about them next year when we have fantasy picks. I honestly was very surprised. I put them down as a smart dark horse pick, but they didn't start out very well. So, stint in parentheses. Oh, in the credits, stint in parentheses. I'm seeing Stint's real name right now. That's really cool. But yeah. Oh, speaking of Stint, he actually lives quite close to where I am in college, so we'll probably meet up. Maybe I'll get him in here in person on the show. Who knows?
Hey.
I don't know. We'll see. But
the first in-person guest, maybe.
Dude, that would be crazy. But we'll at least meet up. I might not be able to bring him to the studio, but yeah, there was a lot of surprises, man. That's all we can keep saying because it's true. It's not a Marble League that I felt like I was going to be able to predict this one. I felt like it was going to be an Ranger Savage Speeders again, Marble League. I felt like we were going to see some hints of Hazers, hints of Green Ducks, and that's it. But no, it was, Chocolatiers were even actually had a good year. Honestly,
this year had the most teams of gold medals, right? Like 12 teams got gold medals. That's the most, right? Pretty sure.
I think so. I mean, it was pretty spread thin, and because of all the spread thin of gold medals, that's why it was so close at the end.
Like, dude, this whole Marble League was just. Is this ever? I don't think this is ever going to happen again. I don't know if this will ever happen again.
I can't predict anything like this again. Like, I'm not going to go into next year expecting this. I'm going to go into next year probably still sticking with some similar teams because they're, especially now that they have a reason to be good again. But again, Green Ducks hosting, we'll talk about what we want to see in the hosting, theming and possible events. Obviously rafting would want to be part of that, next year in a different episode, but, I'm really excited that they're hosting. I think they were a good choice. I think there's going to be a completely different aesthetic to them than the last couple of hosts. So, I think that's going to do it for this week, though. We had a long episode. We have still a lot to cover. It's probably going to take another couple of episodes to really get through the rest of what we want to say about this Marble League. And we have time because there's going to be a break on the JMR end. But
as Dion said, they're going to replace the thumbnails and I don't know how much time. So we can then comment on how we think about those afterwards. Because
hopefully the better, because they suck right now. They all suck.
What are you talking about, Brendan? We love these thumbnails, right?
oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Obviously, a lot of work put in. Obviously, way better than Piney. Why would anybody ever hire Piney? Sorry, Piney. You're the best, actually. We should have her do episode 125, a bunch more animations. That would be funny. But anyway, listen, guys. This has been end of the Marble League is probably the best time to say this. This has been a great year for us as a show. We're still going strong. You guys are still listening. We're still talking. So thank you guys for listening and writing in. Keep writing in, because when you write in and I get to read your email and then I get to turn around and yell at y'all like this, it's the best. It's the best. And we get to just banter about Marble sports and really think it through. It's so fun. So, thank you guys. Thank you, Woff, for all being here for this and making this weird idea I had. This very, very stupid idea that I had way back in the day, like a reality that's lasted to episode 111. Dude, end of 2021 Marble League. I did not think we could still be going at this. I'm in college now. Man, this has been something great. So, hey, that will do it for this episode. Woff, why don't you take us out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Alrighty then. Roll on, Marble sports fans.